Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob, and today we are going to be continuing the narration and character voicing for Darknights Memoir. And, well, let's just start with the usual spiel of in the last episode. We get introduced to probably one of my most favorite opening lines for any of these stories. That is so centered on W, or rather how she became the W we know as of today in the main story. We get the line of W is dead. Amazing first line to start, well, almost first line to start off on. But as we soon learn, the mercenary squad that the original W was in, well, was pretty much just confirming that he has perished. And we soon see the person who will become W we know. And that is, well, the one you're looking at right now. And as it is stated by our two main protagonists alongside W in the story, that being Hoarder and Ines, or rather Hoarder reminding the as of yet unknown of name woman that if she knows what it means to pick up the weaponry and gear of their fallen comrade, aka you are basically taking over, she basically becomes then appointed as the next W. And we get the very picture that is here together with her team, which is a nice touch to have there. And then we later proceed to follow them through, well, through their mercenary life. And we get to see them as they pick up a new job for them. The job being an escort mission, and the escort mission being for a certain group called Babel. And as they are proceeding to run security for the escort of a certain land ship, or rather a certain large vehicle, they don't fully call it a land ship there yet, but Ines does make a remark that is very interesting in that first part. In that, when she uses her arts, which lets her see certain things, more in like the shadow of the object or person, or rather, I would say the way I understand her powers, it's more like she can see it on a person, but for some reason, when she looks at their targeted object, she is very confused about what she is seeing with her powers. And by object, I mean the thing we are escorting. And she even calls it, what is she looking at? A corpse? A skeleton? What is that? Weird. We'll go over that in a moment, what she looks at. But then at the end of the episode, we get pretty much almost a last stand of W and Ines against the pursuing squadrons, who are not really mercenaries, but more like a very organized military squad going at them. And they last minute get saved by, as we the readers can see, apparently kal'tsit and Theresa, which is a interesting thing. And the thing why I said this story is not just important for W's sake, but also for the sake of the main story of the game itself, considering it will in part show us things that were only being slightly hinted at, or just literally name dropped, like just the name is being dropped and something happens to person with said name. So we'll see some things and some familiar faces, let's put it that way. But yeah, today we are going to be continuing from stage 3 onwards. So 3, 5, and 6 will be covered in today's episode. And I think, pardon, I think I said it in the first one, but 4 has no story. I will still include it with the title and the description because it's an interesting one. But for now, let's begin on stage 3. Titled Extrusion. Only one fart? Jesus Christ. Only one part before the mission. let's begin. The circus stopped. The burning ruins collapsed in towards the center. Those monstrous creatures looked down on us from above. A woman suddenly emerged from the center of the circle. A very strange woman. She wasn't Sarka's. She stood in the center of the battlefield, her expression unchanging. Enos was trembling, but I couldn't tell you why. The explosion must have damaged my hearing. I couldn't hear what they were saying. But I knew they were afraid. Was it because of her? No, their attention was focused in another direction, on someone else. In the second before I lost consciousness, I saw a Sarkas. An unthreatening, slender Sarkas. Also just pointing out, those lines were said by W. I just realized. Should have done the voice. They, for the moment... Sarkas must... You will... What? She is heavily injured. If we don't do something now... If he finds this place, we're out of time. kal'tsit, give me a hand. Fine. Where am I? On a land ship. Land ship. How are we still alive? If you're gonna screw around, you can leave me out of it. Long story short, we got rescued. So where are we? The main convoy. This is the land ship we were protecting. Now it's hauling our wounded. Looks like it's still under construction. I can't tell how it all fits together. Weird. But the shadow I saw, it was... Some questions are better left unanswered. What about Hodor? He's with the client. He's talking to the boss of this place. Right. If you're still hanging around, Hodor must be fine. So, what's the deal with this boss of this place? You look nervous, and I don't need to blind myself with Originium arts to figure that out. Don't tell me you think I'm hanging out here because I care about you. Definitely not. So what's the reason? I guess I just feel bad for him. Who knows what kinds of monsters are in that room with him? Try to relax. Nervousness will only drag you down. Will only drag down our efficiency. You did the best you could. The leak was our fault. We don't really look for fault on the battlefield. I know who I'm dealing with. Good. But I can't say I expected that commander to be one of Her Majesty's own. You're a lot stronger than I expected. I haven't had a chance to thank you yet, Dr. kal'tsit. There's the one you should... Theresa's the one you should be thanking. What was that about me? Your Majesty. We're not in Casdal anymore. Let's not stand on ceremony. We're here to sit down and talk, Hodor. By your command. And the one in the coat there must be... Well, hello there, familiar face. I hope you don't mind. It's very important that the doctor will be aware of any new intelligence. Thank you for understanding. It really is a land ship, but it's pretty big, huh? There are parts that look new, but some bits are very old. They're particularly falling apart. I think this is from Rimbiliton? Oh, sorry, they're still building this place. Dr. kal'tsit said not to go any deeper. It's dangerous. Okay, I'll go somewhere else. Thanks. Another familiar face. What a nice kid. With those ears, she's definitely not Sarkas. Come to think of it, the one lady who sucks even more than Ines, that doctor, she isn't a Sarkas either. What's going on here? I look around in the middle of a battle and nobody's Sarkas. How could you be jammed again? Huh? Happy place closure? That's only the 7th short circuit today. The 7th short circuit? Kind of embarrassing for a genius engineer, huh? What if we invest in a new set of doors? That would save some time. Oh, well, we have so many wounded to care for. Their provisions are rather expensive in both manpower and resources. And who wouldn't give up be an even bigger embarrassment? And wouldn't giving up be an even bigger embarrassment? Okay, Your Majesty. Give me 3 days. If I can't fix it in 3 days, I'll take the whole security control system apart and reinstall it. Reinstall it? You can do that. I don't know who built the mysterious systems and then buried them in Rim Billington somewhere. Then if we can't figure it out, we'll just have to replace it with something we can. Easy peasy. Well, I'll leave you to it then. Roger that. Rhode Island, how long will it be until you're up and running? Rhode Island? Oh, I remember, you were with Hodder. You've regained consciousness. Your wounds were quite serious. Did I scare her? I'm W, the mercenary. I'm looking for Captain Hodder and I kinda got lost. Be careful where you wander, this place is still being built. There are a lot of exposed wires. You could get shocked. But I have a feeling such caution is second nature to you, no? W, was it? You may call me Theresa. Hodder had words with the doctor after our meeting. I believe he should be back in his room in medical by now. Don't make them worry. You ought to head back. Theresa, Your Majesty? Oh, well, we're not in Castle anymore. No need for titles. Okay, Theresa. Majesty, why were you wrestling with a door just now? And that short girl there is an engineer, right? I mean, it's just a door. It's not just a door. Okay? How many things are there totally unworthy of my attention? So, what's Rhode Island? Oh, you heard that? That is the name of this vessel, although it has not yet been officially christened. That is the name I wish for it. Maybe it's just my whimsy. The Doctor and kal'tsit may reject its true name. Heh, true name? For this landship? You saw, this vessel wasn't built in Casdell. Searching deep in the oldest records we have, I came across that name. Rhode Island. I'm not actually sure what it means. kal'tsit no more. But that is what I want to name it. It already had a name after all. Her Majesty Theresa fought against the regent who usurped Casdell. She personally brought together more than half the Sarkas clans. And she's fixing a door herself? What's wrong? You have an odd expression on your face. Would it be considered improper to laugh in front of Your Majesty? No, but neither kal'tsit nor the Doctor are the laughing type, and the warriors have too much on their plates for such frivolity. I would quite like it if you all would smile. But that is perhaps an extravagant hope. I understand the pressure I've placed on everyone. So I'm cool to laugh then? Yes? The magic's gone. Can't do it. Why do I feel like that's my fault? Well, I wouldn't dare. What about you? What about me? I am Theresa, this is Rhode Island, and you are? W. That's not what I meant. W is a mercenary code name. I want to know your true name, the one that represents you. You need to cloak yourself in disguise. You need not cloak yourself in disguise, tainted by war. This goes beyond names. Let's just say I'm nosy. Oh, forgive me. You don't have a name? It's pretty common for Sakas both in Casdell. We don't really care much for names. People forget them all the time. What's the point in making an effort to remember a name? I don't want to forget them. I can't forget them. If you want for the dust to settle in Casdell until you're no longer W, we could speak like this once again. Maybe then you could have a more fitting name. A proper name for a circus woman like yourself. Like Rhode Island. A name makes things feel so much warmer, doesn't it? I never really thought about it. Theresa? Message. Casdell is on the move. The doctor is getting ready. Right, I'm on my way. W? Oh, yeah, I'm here. If you are willing to fight for us still, you will always be welcome here, no matter what. I'm not going to criticize Theresa's decisions, but don't expect too warm a welcome. I've seen your record. You're dangerous. Oh, same. You're recovering fast, but not enough to have you wandering around as you please. Go back to bed before we have to have someone carry you there. I realized later, I never dared to look Theresa in the eye. Why? She looked so naive. It wasn't the look of a leader at the head of one of the armies in a cruel war. Is naive the word? You don't have eyes like that when you're naive. Such sad eyes. And those two were always at her side, it seemed. If I could stand with them, what kind of sights would I see? That hood, is that the doctor they were talking about? Is that person looking my way? What, why? Am I scared? Scared of what? That person gives off pretty normal vibes, but... No, it's still vague. I've never seen anyone that weird before. Oh, that's Babel's battlefield commander. I remember now. The doctor, huh? I'm starting to get why Ines wouldn't go near Her Majesty. Maybe it would be better to look out for myself, every once in a while. But I'm not sure why. Ugh. When it comes to Theresa, I never really know why. Call it a whim. Horder and the others would understand. Interesting. Very interesting things being said there. But yeah, continuing, I'll go over that at the end of the episode. Next part obviously doesn't have a story, it's just titled Advance. And the text says, the story of every battle will be copied hundreds upon thousands of times, tucked away in places where nobody will see them. Not all soldiers will be remembered. Very interesting and true sentence there. Anyway, continuing on stage 5, titled Banner. The story takes place after the stage. You've decided. Sounds like you aren't asking, Dr. kal'tsit. Sorry, I just realized. I'm supposed to call you Lord kal'tsit. There's no point in talking about that now. I just want to express my disappointment at your decision. You could have been a great help to Theresa. Her Majesty came to me after the last mission. Sounds like her. She said she remembered me, where I came from, in Kazdel. The huge industrial district and the endless, rotten, crime-ridden city of death that stretches out around it. The influx of refugees growing the slums skyward. How many nobles do you think there are in Kazdel? How many of them are Sarkas who gave themselves some stupid title in an even stupider war? As many as there are weeds in a garden. That's a good one. They are like weeds. But Her Majesty might remember. I appreciate her kindness. She remembers the last bit of humanity left in the Sarkas. She's the only one who could. So, why are you trying to escape? Put it a little rougher, why don't you, Doctor? Ines, Dr. kal'tsit has done a lot for us. You know that. No offense intended. If you've decided to leave, I have no right to stop you. You can go and be free, travel the world as mercenaries. You don't need me to tell you that. Right. But what about the other Sarkas? W has their own plans. And it's not like we have the power to make every mercenary follow the rules. That's how mercenaries are. It's a lot harder to keep order with these free spirits and with big standing armies. But some lost Sarkas warriors could stand to learn from you that which you seek. Regardless, you've chosen your path, even if it's a dead end. Us mercenaries only know how to dive into war, to hide ourselves in the smoke from its wake of ruin. I hope that works out for you. Thanks. There are barely any Sarkas still following us. A lot of them decided to stay, but there's even more who don't get to pick where home is anymore. The camp's gone. The only equipment left is the bottom of the barrel stuff Baba left us. We're more like campers going mountain climbing than mercenaries at this point. It's always been like that, all the way back to when we first met in that birch grove and decided to carve our own path. Good thing Dr. kal'tsit gave us a few special contracts. At least we'll be able to get by. If we're still going to be running errands for her, what difference does it make whether we leave Babel or not? We're just a team of mercenaries fighting to make a profit, taking a lucrative contract. You're lying to yourself. Wait, where's our flag? I kept it. And everything else. If I'm gonna lie to myself, might as well be thorough about it. You remember, right? Back then, whenever a standard bearer fell, another would always step up right away. From the west to the east, becoming a mercenary, then all the way back here. And the whole time, this flag never fell. Up until the 70th or 80th standard bearer died, he impaled his own abdomen with the flagpole to keep it up. When we were escorting the Rhode Island landship, those enemies, those monsters from Kazdel, shredded our lines like paper. When that happened, it was just a kid holding the flag. The enemy had the high ground. Arts rained down around us like a mudslide. Before Dr. kal'tsit arrived, there was pretty much nothing we could do to fight back. The flags are all in tatters. Yes. But I've still got hands. I can hold up a flagpole. I never liked flying a merc flag. It should have been stomped into the mud a long time ago. How many vets from the old days are still alive? You and me. Let's not waste any more time. Hey, Hoarder. Did you leave W with Her Majesty on purpose? What do you think about Her Majesty? and kal'tsit, and especially that doctor, never took you for the gossipy type. Just making small talk. You didn't use your arts once the whole time you were there. That's not like you. I was worried, maybe. I didn't have the guts. Not with the way Dr. kal'tsit was looking at me. She's an unknown quantity. Right, better not dig too deep. Just knowing who that kal'tsit is. But I might have accidentally taken a peek at Her Majesty. My arts can't look directly into people's minds. More like I can get a feel for them by looking over their shadows. Her Majesty is very special. She's tragic, but extremely resilient and gentle. Dr. kal'tsit is strange. She has this almost mechanical feel to her, but like a machine, how can I put it? Full of humanity. You're talking about kal'tsit? You can't feel it, can you? She sees us all as equals. She didn't call us devils. Maybe just because Her Majesty was there. What about the one they just called the Doctor? Let's put it like this. The soldiers are the pawns in the game. The commander is the player. Very meta sentence right now. When I saw the Doctor, I was struck with the feeling that I'm always gonna be a pawn. That one's not a battlefield commander. The Doctor runs the whole war. That's not why. Do you know what the biggest difference is between the piece and the player? No, but why are you talking like W now? You were always impatient, never heard you talking in riddles like this before. A chess player's main focus is never on the pieces, or even the game. It's always on the other player. You always want to beat an even match. After a win, the player goes home to a nice hot meal. The pieces get popped back into the box and stashed away. The player gets to sleep, wake up, walk, and talk. The pieces just sit there in. We're all objects. Inanimate objects. There was only one thing really alive on that battlefield, and it was that one. If we're still gonna call ourselves people, then, well, the Doctor's something else. Okay then, I think it's safe to say we agree on that one. But it looks like Her Majesty, kal'tsit, and whoever else don't really mind. Dr. kal'tsit's always been careful, and even though we weren't working together for very long, I got the impression their troops are kind of in the dark about it. I told W, some things are already starting to change. Leaving might be the right call. Wait, you still didn't answer my question. If we're on the same page, why'd you leave W there? Are you worried about her? So what if I am? Answer me already. For insurance, just in case one day we have to switch sides. Or do you think the Regent, Her Majesty's brother, will open his heart, say all is forgiven, and keep letting us raid the Lateranos? I want to get away from this war. I'm sick of fighting our own people, and we've already suffered enough. Don't get me wrong, W buying us some insurance wasn't the original plan, but her face lit up when I told her she could stay. What an ingrate. You've taken to her work unexpectedly quickly. And that goes for you two friends as well. Though they didn't accept the Doctor's invitation to stay, they still performed their work admirably. So did Theresa say anything? If you seek Her Majesty's praise, you may petition for an audience with her yourself. Assuming that you can avoid Miss kal'tsit, that is. There goes that idea. That bitch is stuck to Theresa like glue. What a headache. Anyway, where are they now? And yet you still instead to seek her out. I just want to take a look. Can't get chewed out for doing that, right? Now who's the bigger headache? Hey, I worked my ass off to dig out 7 spies stuck in with you refugees. 7! And a caster too. Do you know how hard it was? Keep it down, your presence as well as the details of your mission are both confidential, so... Shh! That was your job, and if I recall correctly, the doctor asked you to keep at least one alive. Yeah, the alive part is trickier than you'd think. Guy offed himself before I could even mark him. What's a girl supposed to do? They're on the bridge. Amia should be there too. You talk like I remember all these names, as if I care. That's your business. Just a moment. What's that in your hand? Oh, this? A little camera that you yoinked from one of the spies. Pretty rare, huh? Don't tell me you're going to... What? Is the Sarkis gonna pass up an opportunity to get a selfie with Her Majesty? Well, if Miss kal'tsit apprehends you as a spy, don't expect me to bail you out. Sure. How'd the spies manage to get here anyway? Don't you think we've been going at our fights kinda weird lately? That's not an area where you or I should be pointing fingers. If you're dissatisfied, take it up with the doctor. The doctor, huh? Maybe next time then. Over there? Sure enough. That's all of them. I'm gonna lie low for a second. What's with the tiny bunny? The little shit's ears are blocking Theresa. Kal'tsit? She's not coming over here. Did she not see me? Damn it, what's the doctor doing here? Get that one in my picture and it's 100% cursed. Aw, Theresa's laughing. Screw it, I won't get another opportunity like this. Cheese! W, do you even know what's going on right now? Probably better than you do. I'm the one actually down on the battlefield putting in work, Dr. K. It's fine, kal'tsit. There's no need to be angry. What a bitch. All that over a stupid picture. But you might not like the next job so much, Mr. Captive. Come on, don't be so nervous. You're brave enough to get so close to the speaker's office. Surely you can prepare to have your cover blown. And I'm in a pretty bad mood, so you're not gonna have a good time. Trying to off yourself? Don't rush it. We're not ready for that. Not until I ask you some questions first. Now, what was it? What happened at the Battle of the Mill last month? What reason do you have to be here? Why are you so close to the capital? What are you after? Who do you answer to? What were you trying to give Theresa? Oh, take your time. No need to knee-jerk me an answer here. What I really want to know is, say there's an originium needle hovering by that eye you can't close. If I was too slowly to push it in at a speed of 3 millimeters per second, wouldn't you be afraid? Horder's prediction was correct. The war is starting to change. But to be honest, I lost interest in watching the situation in Castle unfold. Not like it affected me anyway. I'm just worried about Theresa. Even though seeing that damn woman is about as revolting as seeing my reflection smiling back at me in the mirror, maybe I do have to talk to her. She and I are the same kind of person, if she can even be considered a person, that is. That's one of a whole bunch of mysteries floating around her. But she's much stronger than me. Maybe she will be able to protect Theresa. No, she has to. Otherwise... Alright, and moving on to the last bit for today. The story on stage 6, titled Far Away. says, "This is but one cycle. Each person will walk from one end to the other and repeat the process again and again." And here we have two parts. So let's begin with the one before the stage. I know what I said. No one can just watch from the sidelines. There could be no bystanders. And yet, I still wanted to escape from the war. From Babel, from W, and from Her Majesty. So I ran. What a hypocrite. Do I regret it? Maybe. But even if I stayed there, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish anything. 5:58 a.m. Light drizzle. Northernmost outskirts of Kazdel, mercenary camp at the edge of the war zone. A few months after leaving Babel. This intel. Come on, say something. You're normally pretty glib. What's there to talk about? Why are you throwing a question back at me? This deadlock has been dragging on for ages. Do you think the scales will tip overnight? What the hell happened these last 6 months? Aren't things moving way too quick? We all know something went wrong. But as to exactly where, nobody knows. I guess I shouldn't say nobody. Her Majesty and the people around her. That never should have happened to them. That's what we all think. But right now, what about us? Will the same thing happen to us? Too soon. This war ended too quickly. Up until last month, we were still working on our contract with Babel. Then they went quiet. We stopped getting any news. Everyone knew which side we were on, and it's not like we were even ready to leave. If that's really the end of things, we have nowhere to run. Tell the messenger to start pulling contacts and see what intel we can dig up. Maybe we'll have to return to the real battlefield. I also figured that that day was coming. We all knew it deep down, didn't we? If we really wanted to wash our hands on the whole thing, we wouldn't have agreed to work with them in the first place. We could have left on our own, crossed Lake Valandan, and made a killing somewhere else. Ines, Stop. It'd be even harder for us to pull out of there. Too easy to get lost in that warmth. We'd get drunk on it. Maybe we should just abandon Babel and take our people away. You still have that same old problem. You're getting sentimental again. I can't tell you how long, but it feels like it's been ages since I've made a good decision that actually helped us. Maybe we really don't belong on the battlefield anymore. Enough of that. Which one of us is the Sarkis here? Is there a single other place on Terra, like even a wooden shed over our heads, that can handle a bunch of bloodstained Sarkas? Don't always blame yourself. We all share the burden. Also, looking back, I can say that you made the right decision to take in W. She's made a lot of money for us, and offed a lot of people. Hope so. W, is she still alive? I don't think she died so easily. She spent a decent amount of time with Her Majesty as well. Who knows, maybe she learned a thing or two. We need to get a grasp, quick, of the situation in Castle right now. If we can find her again, things might get a little easier. Do we really need her back, Jesus. Do we really need her to back us up? Fine. What a damn shame. There you are. You sure know how to run. You look that inside. I heard what you've been up to lately, W. Then you should also know that you're the last one. Yeah, right. As you can see, a lot of people died in this battle. All you're doing at this point is running up the score. The way I see things, anyone who isn't dead yet has done a lot more things, lot more than you ever have. Shut up. Do you need another reminder? Theresa is dead. All of Castle, all of Terra will know that Castle has a new king. But that was just a decapitation strike. A lot of core operators are still alive. Like that commander of yours who never showed up again, they made the right call. His Majesty didn't completely annihilate you because he wants to put a stop to the chaos. Castle needs him to pave a new path forward. But what about you? Who are you to lecture anyone about right or wrong? Of course you won't say it, but I know that's what you're thinking, and while you're thinking, you're trying to erase all those faces from your memory one by one. After all, you're just here to vent, just a petty little mercenary, drowning in her worthless revenge. You can't beat anyone. I can definitely beat you, pretty easy too. Killing me doesn't prove anything. All you do is run your mouth. Are you trying to read my mind, or just getting some last words out before you die? A bit of both, I won't deny it. Ever since I almost choked on the blood of my friends, I haven't been able to hold a weapon. We've all bled, splattered it across Babel's palace. What you've seen, I've seen so much more. But since you found me, I guess my fate is sealed, huh? I know. Save your breath. To be honest, I just kinda wanna kill you. Call it a little relief from the stress of unemployment. I really underestimate you, Psycho. Can you really put the trigger without any anger behind it? Or are you so far gone that you don't even feel anything? You're alone now. How many more of our people do you plan to hunt down? Don't you realize you're not even thinking about Her Majesty Theresa? You're helping him silence us, and... Will you shut it already? I thought you wanted to die. If you ran back to your little regent, do you really think I could butcher my way through Castle and drag all of you out one by one? But you won't. None of you will. When you people kill her, you knew that you'd never be able to return to Castle again. You'll never go back to the way things were before. Nobody who actually saw what she looked like would have been able to keep cool, except for those real monsters. So you're all waiting for one special person, me, your executioner. I'm here to finally set you free. And I'm doing it for free too. How great is that? Self-righteous lunatic. But what you said is true. We stain our hands with her blood, but even then, You never should have called that man His Majesty. Theresa is the only one who gets that title. You might have lived to speak a few more words. I hope the usurper isn't rushing to get fitted for a crown. I mean, he'll be losing his head in a minute here. It'd be such a waste. Just wait till Theresa... Theresa. If you don't surrender, you get other mercs on you. Next time, you'll be the prey. Well, look who it is. I thought you two left Castle ages ago. Long time no see. Compared to how long this war has been going on, it was a weekend getaway. But I can't believe how you've grown. I spooked you? Your hands are shaking. Just a little rusty. Our intellids say that you'd be all alone here. But we're almost 200 kilometers out from Taba. What do you plan to do with that rickety corpse of yours? Or have you been dragging yourself around like this for months, all alone? It wasn't that hard, but I guess there is a lot of stuff that's a pain in the ass to do by myself. Like if you were rushing to patch yourself up, you could have suddenly found your infection getting a lot worse. It's whatever as long as I don't die, and I don't die easy. But that tower looks familiar. Where are we?
Here, we're on the western battle zone. The coordinates are... Oh, right. This is where W died. And where you joined us.
This place has been blasted into ruins. What, were you feeling nostalgic? Do I look like the nostalgic type? My last target just happened to run over here. I know you two came for a reason, just like last time. Let's cut to the chase.
The region has united all of Kazel's armed forces. The remaining mercenaries will also be united to form a real standing army to be sent to all throughout Terra.
What a busybody.
It's understandable. Unless the big shots in Victoria and Laterano are useless pieces of shit with butter for brains, nobody's just going to sit back and let Kazel rebuild after reunification.
Maybe we can borrow a few of the folks here and stir up some unrest again.
Bad idea, even if you're trying to get revenge.
Don't forget how many of our people with us now fought side by side with Theresa. Sarka's mercenaries like us never really had a dog in the fight. Most people don't like thinking. They just need more time. They just need someone to give them orders. So if all the Sarkas will listen to the regent, then he's won. Ines, did it hurt when they carved your horns to look all Sarkazy? Did they bleed? No. Then your little disguise isn't even skin deep. Keep playing the Sarkas and you're gonna get yourself killed. Thanks for the concern. I can hardly contain my bile. I'm just not in the mood to hear you calling yourself a Sarkas right now. I decided to go down this path, and it's the only one I can follow at this point.
W, since Her Majesty Theresa disappeared, Kazel has changed a lot, completely turned on its head. Most Sarkas don't have a choice, not to mention, it's also a tempting proposition for many others.
So, let me guess, because you didn't have the time to make it out, you accepted the murderer's proposal?
We'd be a bunch of icy stiffs if we didn't.
It looks like I'm not gonna be able to change your mind. I'm not as cruel as you used to be. Why don't we let our swords do the talking for old time's sake?
Slow up a minute, you might be interested in what I have to say next. We're not going back to Kazdel. We're headed to Ursus.
Now that's a surprise. You should have said that earlier. I was this close to killing you. But you've got my attention. Let's talk, Captain Horderer.
Just inside Kazel, there are some infected uprisings. They're paying top dollar for mercs, and the regent is looking to manipulate some of the infected for his own goals.
The power of the infected?
But most of their forces are still up in the frozen land of Ursus, and the regent's not interested in the dilapidated vacant throne of Kazel anymore. He's got his eyes on someplace else. The so-called reunion movement is gathering the oppressed and downtrodden of all races. It's a fine piece to put in play for the next required step.
So, nobody would get suspicious if we joined the reunion movement and left Kazel far, far behind. And then what?
We'll take things one step at a time, W. You already know what I want, and I also might know what you want.
You're right. That does seem like a better move. I am after a real monster here, after all. And the old woman disappeared too. Maybe there really is no more reason to stay in Kazdel. But I'm not letting you two run the show this time. There's things I want to do, choices I want to make for myself. That go with you?
The regent will send someone to muster the mercenary army. If it's just between our little group here, that's fine. We will help you.
Don't worry, I've always been good at coping with my boss.
Alright then. Welcome back, W.
Getting away from Castle, huh?
Oh, pardon, wrong, wrong person talking. W has changed a lot. She should have her own ideas now. I pushed Ines down this path too, but she's stronger than I expected. As for me, occasionally, if you climb up somewhere high and look down, you can see the plumes of smoke rising from Casdal. Casdal. Maybe I'm the one who wants to escape from this place the most. Alright, and on to the last part for today, the after story of stage 6. What happened to Babel? Any Sarkas in contact with Her Majesty Theresa at the time would have asked this question. W definitely saw the truth, but she said nothing during the long journey. I didn't ask, and neither did Ines, but I think she's closer to the truth than I am. Before I knew it, I found myself trailing behind everyone else. Of course. Yes, it'll be fine. I'll keep contact with the other teams. By your command. Guys, it looks like we'll be stationed here for a while.
What happened?
The scouts spotted a catastrophe brewing, with no catastrophe messenger nearby. Pardon. We should stay as far away as possible, just in case. We can't risk it, no matter what.
A catastrophe, huh?
It's rare to see one raging in the wilderness. But we have plenty of experience dealing with Originium in Castle, so no need to panic. Where's W?
She's with her team. Need her for something?
I'm not sure. She's changed a lot.
Do you think her personality would change that much just because Theresa is gone?
She's too calm. It's unlike her. But when we found her on the battlefield earlier, she still had that cynical, sarcastic expression.
If anything, she's only gotten worse. That's odd. I never thought you'd be perceptive enough to pick up on those subtle warning signs.
Save the jabs. If W's being quiet, that warning sign's far from subtle.
W, she...
Oh.
Look, the clouds are converging on the other side of the mountain, and the air pressure has changed drastically. Is that a catastrophe cloud?
It might not be safe to station here given the size of that thing. Notify all our forces to retreat 50 kilometers along our original route. Find W and make it quick.
I don't take orders from you. You know, the feeling W gives off now is just like that thing. W? What are you doing? The wind is so strong here.
I wish they had wind sounds here.
I'm enjoying the catastrophe. What else? Are you insane? What'd you say? I can't hear you. I forgot you were always a lunatic. Don't get the Sarkas on your team killed with you. I already told him to evacuate with Hoarder. I'm not stupid. Ha! W, I'm telling you, be careful. Damn it. You're the one who stay back. You're not gonna make it if you fall down there. And you think you will? If you don't want to die, get your ass back here.
What the hell are you two doing?
Ask her. She insists on clinging to me.
Fortunately, we didn't lose anyone from W's team. Otherwise, we'd get court-martialed long before we get to Rhode Island. Sorry, I saw the R. Before we get to reunion. Pardon, Jesus Christ. Let's all head back and rest first, then wait for the news.
What's wrong with fighting during a catastrophe? Are you afraid of the storm or of a ripathy? I'd just rather not die an early death. Let's get ourselves ready. It'll be a real special experience.
Venus?
What? I'm not upset. It's not like we're a couple of ordinary kids you have to break apart. I can say that W did a good job taking care of her team.
Rare to hear you say that.
Say what? I have no idea if she's just a lunatic or if she's... God damn it. She's no damn storm cloud. She is the catastrophe.
Swears. I love it. Just swears. You're in a good mood.
Of course. There's some news, but you don't get to hear it until we're out of this trash heap of a country.
That can't be why you set a rendezvous point right under a catastrophe, right? Are you trying to get me killed?
Hey, don't put it that way. Do you know what the biggest perk of being a lunatic is?
I'm not sure I want to know, but I already have a pretty good idea just from following you, boss.
That's right. It's this. The crazier shit you do, the less others question you. The Rhode Island already left Castle, right?
To be specific, we don't have any reports on of a landship that big taken in by his Theresa's. That's a lot of S's.
Good enough. So we do have a lead after all.
We have more and more fresh faces on the team, but I feel better knowing that I left Castle. Among those traveling with me are both friends and enemies, but it's always been volatile like that. Mercenaries don't care too much about the past because of our kind. Life and death are easy to come, easy go. Maybe because the war ended too quickly, we immediately plunged first into the next battle without even tasting a moment of peace. This kind of hope could just be another poison. Since the beginning, we've always needed war and conflict to ease this balance. W is the best example of this. She's long become drunk on it.
Ah. Welcome. Warriors from afar.
War has never been something that can be avoided. I've always known that, of course, but at that moment, I truly realized it. War has permeated every corner of this world. It always has ever since the first sentient thing was born. And we will become mired in it again.
Alright, and this will do it for today's narration. Next time we will finish the story with the last two stages, plus the one bonus scene that is in the EX stages. And yes, there is one bonus stage in there right before the first stage even opens, I believe. But one thing I've noticed while going over this story, just going over a few bullet points here quickly, one thing that I've noticed. Yes, first off, the obvious thing, this is definitely shaped like a W, because W, but this is W's high point in life, joining into a mercenary squad and having some new purpose in life. going downwards to a down low point in her life where she pretty much almost dies, then going back up again because she found someone she literally admires and Yandere talks, being Theresa, and then we go back down because she loses that person and is absolutely cuckoo right now. I wonder if that was a coincidence when they were making these stages, but maybe it wasn't, considering this stage in between 3 and 5 is empty and no story is on it. So maybe this was intended to be that way. So we go from high to low to high to low. Question mark high points again? We'll see. Or even more craziness, as W is a bit of a cuckoo. But yeah, interesting things were said during this whole thing, and that's why I said that this is kind of important for certain backstories and to flush out a bit more about the past of, well, certain characters important for the main story. I just love the fact that Doctor appears in the story, at least so far, and doesn't say a single shit. Just stares down W. And apparently she got scared or felt a shiver down her spine, meaning that something was off, right? But yeah, interesting, right? Also the whole bit, and we will go, there are certain bits, certain side stories that literally showcase this here and there, and little side informations that appear throughout. I think there is one bit that appears... where was that? Oh yeah, that was in the trailer that was made, like letter or recap done by kal'tsit, that's on the Arknights channel, I think, where they also hint at something Rhode Island. Oh wait, no, was that a letter in game? Fuck, can't remember. Well, whatever. One day soon, I believe, after the next new original story gets added to the global version, I think we're getting a rerun of A Walk in the Dust, so expect a narration of that story then, and we will pretty much dig even slightly deeper into the background of, well, mostly kal'tsit, but also Rhode Island, as we've seen in this story today. And they've literally said it, that they've dug the thing up somewhere, not in Kasdel, but somewhere, and they are currently rebuilding it. So the comment I brought up earlier from Ines when she looked at Rhode Island before the escort mission started, and said that it feels weird to her that she can't see what she can't tell what she's looking at. Is it what it is? Is it a corpse? Is it a skeleton? What the hell is she looking at? A weird thing to say about a land ship, by the way. But yeah, interesting. I wonder, like, these side stories do bring out some things that the main story doesn't about the Rhode Island land ship, I would say, and it just builds up on the mystery of it, which is fascinating. Always starts to churn the gears in my brain. Always start to speculate immediately, what the fuck would this mean, based on other games and stories that I've played. Trying to fill in the blanks immediately. But yeah, interesting. Food for thought. What is Rhode Island? What is it hiding? Where was it dug up? Well, the thing where it was dug up will be covered in the future in other stories. So if you who are listening have never experienced any of these stories, please look forward to that. We'll be going into it, let's put it that way, more and more as everything progresses. But yeah, this will be it for today's narration then. Next time, as I said, we will finish the story. But for today, I hope you have an amazing rest of the day. And I will see you in the next episode. Until then, bye bye.